Women comprise 51% of the population in Australia. 51%. We are the majority. And we comprise 45% of the paid workforce. And yet, women hold only 8% of board positions in our top companies, only 3% of CEO roles and only 2.5% of company chair positions.
I don't want to say too much, except that anybody who's in women in leadership, you need to know Jen Dalitz. She is the girl. She's the one. She's got a mentoring portal set up called Sphinx, and she is the CEO of Sphinx, and is a huge exponent and cheerleader for women in leadership. But she's also fabulous in leadership and fabulous in change. Can you welcome up the straight talking and my dear friend Jen Dalitz?
Getting back to the land has really confirmed in my mind that every person, every business, every leader could learn more from the land than they'll ever know. Lessons like pulling together when the going gets tough. As much as you all think you can do it all on your own, you just can't. Life these days is too big for any of us to go it alone.
She said to me, Jan, did Australia even have a women's movement here? I said, what are you talking about? We bred Germaine Greer. Of course we had a women's movement.
So I can't resist an opportunity to tell you that farmers are way ahead of the game in this regard. I mean, do you even know what the heifer ratio is in your business? Because in a typical herd of cattle, you'll have 100 heifers to every bull or 200 to 1. Yet in our top companies, only 3% of CEOs are women.
What I'm not seeing in organisations, in their policies, is a real sense of risk-taking. So it feels like the safe path is being followed each time. I mean, is it just me, or has anyone else ever had one of those OSMs where you've gone, I really could have handled that a little bit differently? So you're familiar with OSMs, you know, oh shit moments in meetings and so on, and you go, oh shit, I really could have handled that a bit better.
Turn to the person next to you and say, I'm braver than I think I am, and when I get back to the office, I'm going to ...
If you're not checked in with yourself and you're making sure that you are giving time to yourself as well as you are giving to your work commitments and to all those other things that are going on at home, then you won't perform to your best at work. And God forbid, you might even get a little bit crabby. I mean, not me or you, but other people, you know, might from time to time. I would say I think that it's a better time than ever to be a woman in business. I really think it's almost a perfect storm of a lot of circumstances coming together to make it the right time to be noticed if you're a skilled woman in business. And partly because these organisations now realise they do need to act on the public sentiment, which is very much that this resource has been underutilised for too long. And let's not forget that over 80% of purchase decisions are made by women. So if women aren't in the top leadership ranks of organisations, my question is, where is our voice, us as the consumers, where is that coming from in organisations?
Now, it's fair to say I haven't always valued what I learned on the land, and as I share some of these stories with you, you'll be forgiven for thinking they sound like good old-fashioned common sense. But has anyone noticed how common sense just isn't that common anymore?
It's not just actually about employing women in those roles, it's about bringing diversity and representing our communities in our workplaces. So whatever the mix of the community is, that's what the structure of the board and the organisation and the executives management team really should be looking like. These companies need to sort this stuff out. It's an efficiency issue, it's a productivity issue. We cannot continue to have a situation in Australia where we are educating over half of our university graduates are women and they're not making it through to the top. So what do? We say, well, let's not even bother educating them anymore, we're not going to give them the top jobs. I mean, we have to. That problem has to be solved, and I think organisations are responding with some really good initiatives.
And we now know from Catalyst research that those organisations with more women in leadership roles produce financial results up to 35% stronger. So maybe we're finally starting to realise in corporate land what the farmers have known all along.